Unearthed Arcana 2022, very exciting. No announcement until literally today. Giant options, all giant flavored stuff. We got Mackenzie de Armas, of course, of Strixhaven fame, and also one of the writers of Sina Una, which is fantastic. James Wyatt, Ben Petrosor, and Jeremy Crawford are kind of the trio that work on every single UA. They've kind of been the team so far, but let's keep going. We got the Barbarians, Druids, and Wizards, Feats in here. Exciting stuff. Subclass options: Path of the Giant, Circle of the Primeval, and Runecrafter for the Wizard. Okay. Don't mean to rush you. Oh, trust me, I want to Hoot Growl. Let's go. I saw Hoot Growl in the chat. We love those owl bears. Anyway, Path of the Giant. Okay, before we do this, we gotta preface this. I love playing Barbarians. Barbarian is my favorite class next to Warlocks. I just love how simple they are, and grappling makes them so interesting. But you know what makes grappling really great? Being able to grow big. This Path of the Giant subclass is probably my favorite thing to come out this entire year. It is very, very fun from my perspective and the way I like to play. I know some people won't get the appeal of it, but this is just something I'm already so looking forward to. But let's jump into this. Another Hoot Growl in chat. Barbarians who walk the Path of the Giant draw strength from the primal forces. Their rages serve. Oh, by the way, you can see in the corner the Wiv color chart, basically how I categorize things. So far, we've only seen purple. Purple just means it's interesting. It's not strong, weak. It's just interesting. They surge in elemental power. We know that there are multiple different giants out there with different elemental prowesses, and they can grow in size. Big thing that can only be seen in the Rune Knight Fighter, and the old Primeval Guardian of Ranger, I believe, could grow large. Correct me if I'm wrong. There might be other ones, but that's the ones I remember. There's an aesthetic appearance to this. You could turn white and your eyes crackle with lightning. Fantastic. And you can adopt the appearance of just large titan things. And I love flavor like that. Just screw it, throw it on. Let me transform when I rage. Love that stuff. Storm Herald was decent. The mechanics are pretty terrible, but the visual, A+. Anyway, giant third level, giant power. You can write giant, read, speak, write, or one language of your choise. That's great. Druidcraft or Thaumaturgy. Thaumaturgy is a perfect choice. Big booming voice. Open all the windows. This is Presence the spell. It's only available to tieflings and clerics, but having it in a subclass makes it absolutely perfect. Wisdom is an interesting choice here. I would have put it on Charisma, but that's perfectly fine with me. What's up, Death Fury? And Muhammad Marie. Fantastic. Giant Havoc. Let's get into the good stuff. Your rages pull strength from the primal might of giants, transforming you into a hulking force of destruction. While raging, not passively, you gain the following benefits. Crushing Hurl. All right. When you make a successful ranged attack using a thrown weapon using strength, you can add your rage damage bonus to the attack's damage roll. All right, this is a throwing subclass. Everybody, calm down. They're finally doing throwing as a subclass foundation. Blue means it's what defines your build. So you're gonna try to find those javelins, those spears, even those daggers. All of those will be able to add your rage damage, as long as you use strength, which is fantastic. Really, really good. A cool thing you could do with this is daggers. If you subclass multiclass into rogue, you can add your sneak attack on that, and your rage damage, and your strength. Very, very cool. It's been a long... They've literally never made a throwing barbarian before, so this is their first attempt. Love that. Your reach... Now, this is the big one. Your reach increases by 5 feet. If you are smaller than large, you become large, along with everything you're wearing. If there isn't enough room for you to become large, your size doesn't change. All right, so this is a big deal. Both of these together is a huge deal. So I'm going to open up Foundry real quick. Give me a second. Hold on. Let me do this real quick. Great. I'm going to tab over to Foundry. All right, this is Stretchum right here. All right, this is a bugbear. When he rages, he becomes one size larger, right? So let's make him one size larger. Let's just do this. All right. Now he's this big, right? So he has that 10-foot, he has 5-foot range, right? Let's draw that out. Put a square there. Okay, this is normal range, right? He's large, but he's a bugbear, so now he can reach this, right? But now he's also, what is that? He can also gets plus 5 feet reach, just from raging as well. So it's large plus bugbear plus 5 feet more. So this is his effective range. This is his effective range at 3rd level. Right? This is wild. Look at this range. It's huge. But let's add on to that. What if we just gave him a glaive? Let's add a glaive on that. Let's put another 5 feet. Look at this. Okay. A 3rd level bugbear can do this. This is a 3rd level bugbear. If you're not a bugbear, your range is this, which is still amazing, right? Yeah, so you can start as small. Even this guy over here, can get this much range. That's wild. Yeah. Another 5 with polearm. Already, this first 5. He's large, so he gets this range. This range is from being a bugbear. This range is from the plus 5 range from the raging, and this range is from polearm. So this is the effective range. Isn't this wild? Sentinel boys. Yes, absolutely. I love this. So this is the foundation. This is what they're painting the subclass around. This is what you can do. Sure, you can throw weapons, but you can also do this. If you're playing this right and you're not using a polearm or a thrown weapon, then you gotta reconsider what you're picking. This is the appeal. But what you can also do with this range, if we delete this is ignore polearm range. So ignore polearm range, ignore this, just this range. This is your effective grapple range. All right. So you can grapple anything in this range, even if you're not a bugbear, because you got the plus 5 range from. Let me check right here. Your reach increases by 5 feet. So yes, you can grapple within this range, right? And because your size large, you can grapple huge creatures. So you can grapple. So let's imagine Ellie over here real quick. Hold on. Let's imagine Ellie is. Let's make her huge real quick. Huge Ellie. Okay. So even if she was this big and this far away from you, you could still grapple her. It's so good. It's so good. I don't need any damage numbers on this. This is all that I need to really have fun in D&D. Grappling and big creatures. Anyway, that was my aside. This is the appeal of the subclass. This is what I mean by chucking like a really good flavor right at the start to convince people to play the subclass in the first place. Love this. This is great. Anyway, and I can swing on her. Give me a sec. Move up. Swing down. There you go. You could do like that. Like it could be kaiju battles at level at level 1, at level 3. Too fun. Let's get out of here. All right, back to this PDF, which is weirdly placed. Let me see if I can adjust that. There, cool. All right, so that's level 3. That's great. I put that all in blue. Love that. Let's keep going. Elemental Cleaver. So this is the interesting one. So at level 6, you get to choose one weapon of your choice, and you can give it one of these damage types. So Acid, Cold, Fire, Thunder, Lightning. Obviously, Thunder is the one you want to go with. It has the least number of resistances, with Acid close behind. Acid is kind of a weird choice because there aren't giants that are Acid, unless you count like Trolls. I think Trolls are Acid, but I don't know if those are the giants they're looking for in this aesthetic. But kind of a weird choice, but this is second best, this is best, and the rest of them are just middling. Right. This changes the entire weapon damage, the entirety of it, to whatever it is. So it's kind of a downgrade if you have a magical bludgeoning, piercing, slashing weapon, because those magical bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing are all better than these 5. So this is just a little bit of a nerf if the entirety of your weapon turns to that damage type. Anyway, but you get a plus 1d6, which is great, like a little hex on all of your attacks, and you can throw it. So you can throw two-handed heavy weapons. They get a normal range of 20 feet and a long range of 60 feet. If you throw them, you can add your rage damage. Remember this? You could add your rage damage on it. You could still use strength for it. The range is now 20 feet. So remember that range you had before? It's basically the distance you can throw it. And once it hits, it immediately comes back. So instantly comes back to your hand. Instantly comes back. I don't know what Plague Giants are. Maybe that's before the edition. I never played anything besides 5th edition. So if you know any, then I would absolutely be informed. Anyway, Obviously, no one can wield this except for you. This is fantastic. This solves so much like action economy because sometimes you have to wait for it to come back, but if it immediately comes back, you could just keep firing and throwing it. Very cool. Range anything. Range mauls, range great swords, range great axes, range quarterstaves. Like just imagine you throwing this. Like this damage buff is nice, but I just really like the aesthetic. The reach of your range of influence is crazy. Anyway. Bonus action, you could change the flavor. You can change the damage type. You probably won't need to do this unless you realize somewhere in the middle that they have an immunity to something. Just choose Thunder. Thunder's the choice you want to go. This is just a cool feature. Anyway, Mighty Impel. Yeah, did you get like God of War vibes from this? Anyway, Mighty Impel. Now let's get a little bit crazier, right? At 10th level, as a bonus action, choose one medium or small creature within your reach. Remember, your reach is 10 feet now, as long as you're not a bugbear. And to move it to an unoccupied space you could see within 30 feet of yourself. So you could force palm somebody 30 feet away. Okay, so let's talk about this. Let's jump back to Chrome real quick. Hold on. Let's come back here. Let's talk. So let's bump you down back to 1 by 1. Sure. Great. So this is your range of influence, right? So here is 10 feet away, right? This is 10 feet away. What does the feature say? You can throw a creature within 30 feet of yourself. So what's 30 feet away from here? This is 30 feet away. This is 30 feet. This is 30 feet away. So you could chuck this character all the way over here. That's huge. That's an effective 40-foot range. Even farther, actually. It's let's see. It's 10 feet, and then 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So 45-foot chuck range. That's so good. Okay, let's go back. So 45-foot chuck range, effectively. You're going from one side to the next. So it's within 40 feet. You can see within 30 feet of yourself. So it's not from where they start. It's where you are. And the space... And so it's a strength. It scales with strength. Obviously, that's fantastic. A strength saving throw. Just pick up the wizards and not the ogres, and you'll be fine. If at the end of this move the thrown creature isn't on the surface, the creature falls, takes damage as normal, and lands prone. So if they fail, they will guaranteed be prone because you will always toss them a little bit upwards. So you can toss them 30 feet in the direction and 5 feet up. That's still within 30 feet of you, right? So you always want to put them a little bit above the ground so they will fall and always land prone. You can also do this on willing creatures. So you can move around your allies as a bonus action. Guys, this 3rd level feature, 6th level feature, and 10th level feature are the most exciting things that Barbarians have had in years. In years. Wild Magic who? Storm Herald who? It's so good. Anyway, let's just... Yeah, and you could chuck them 30 feet up. It's fantastic. Anyway, Demiurgic Colossus. At 14th level, your reach is now 10 feet. Your sizing creatures to huge, and you can move creatures large or smaller. You get a damage buff, but who cares? Let's talk about this. Let's go back to the diagram. Come on, let's talk. Okay. How big are you now? Okay, you're this big. All right, let's do this. Your range is now an extra 10 feet. So this is your base range. That's your base range. And then if you're a bugbear, it's this big. And then if you have a polearm, it's this big. At 14th level, this is what it looks like. This is your effective range as a melee character. You can grapple gargantuan creatures. This is the melee character. 14th level Barbarian. What's his face? Rune Knight Fighter gets huge at 18, I'm pretty sure. It's amazing. I don't care how much damage I'm doing. I'm doing damage because I'm a barbarian. I don't need my features to give me damage. My DM will give me a cool weapon or something because he knows that I'll have one weapon of choice that I'll put on like some sort of elemental talent on, and I'll just use that for the rest of the campaign. But I can swing at this range. How fun is that? This is wild. So this is huge plus 10-foot range plus bugbear plus polearm. That's the range. Anyway, let's go back. Oh, the default 5 range. You're entirely right. So this is the default range. I'm sorry. This is the default range at the 14th level. My bad. And then it's bugbear, polearm. Yeah, wow, that's huge. That's even better. Someone screenshot this. This is what you're looking at when this thing comes out at 14th level. I love it. It's another ring bigger. Pretty sure this is it. 5 feet, 5, 10, 15 feet attack range, bugbear reach, and polearm. Yeah, pretty sure that's it. Anyway. That's all they get. That's the entirety of the subclass. I'm pretty sure there's nothing else. Yeah, there's nothing else. So listen, this is a 10 out of 10. This is a fantasy fulfillment. This is what it does. It's not super powerful. It's not any sort of busted or circumventing the rules. It's just a really big barbarian, and that's all I really ask for. I don't ask for anything else. 10 out of 10. Ship this right now. I don't even have any recommendations. I think acid is kind of weird, but besides that, everything else is perfectly fine. Keep going. I'm done talking about my favorite thing here. Let's move on to something less exciting. Druid Circle of the Primeval. This reminds me of Primeval Guardian Ranger, by the way, and Beastmaster Ranger. Druid Circle of the Primeval teaches that through the land, we change out, it may never truly forgets, talking about time-worn memory, hulking creatures alongside giants, talking about dinosaurs, common beasts, and fantastic titan creatures. So they don't have to be dinosaurs. They could just be really big friends. Anyway, they spend their lives delving into long-forgotten places, preserving remnants of bygone eras. Basically, they're saying everything used to be bigger, but now it's smaller. Beast starts out equal in size before increasing in stature. Anyway, Keeper of the Old. Second level feature gives you proficiency in history. And whenever you get an intelligence history check, you add a d4 to the number rolled to the ability check. I think what would have been cooler or more flavorful for this, I like this. This part's fine. But if this could just scale with wisdom, I think that would just be an easier way to relate this feature to being a druid. You know? It's because you're a druid that you're good at history, not because you have high intelligence. You know? But, you know, this is fine. This is just flavor. Let's get to the meat and potatoes, you know? Let's keep going. Primeval Companion. As an action, you can spend a wild shape to summon a creature within 30 feet of you. This is a gray because it doesn't say you have to see the spot, so you could technically summon them across walls and places you can't see, or underground, or in rooms apart from you, walls separated. I would really like if this said a place you can see, so that players couldn't metagame just summoning their dinosaur in another room without knowing anything. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Make history a wisdom check. Make it scale with wisdom. I think that's way more interesting than this D4 thing. Anyway. This is all stock standard stuff with companions. Scales with friendly to friends. Scales with PB. You determine the appearance, which is great. I think that's flexible. Not everybody likes dinosaurs. Some people just want to have like a really big red panda, you know? That's totally fine. You could look like ancient predators, like raptors, saber-toothed tigers, or a woolly rhino. I recently learned that a woolly rhino is something from 2nd edition D&D. I didn't know what this was, but I looked it up, and apparently there's a real thing. There's art out there. You can look it up yourself. These choices have no effect on the companion's game statistics. This is kind of questionable to me, because they eventually get large, right? But the creature, if it's shaped like a mount, I'm pretty sure it's ruled, then you can use it as a mount. But if it's not shaped like a mount, you can't use it as a mount. So, like... you determine you could make it look like a Titan from Attack on Titan, but that's kind of dumb, right? Anyway, you can make it look whatever you want. This is all stock standard. You need to use your bonus action to move it around, so it's not like the summon spells. It's like every other summon. It's like every other subclass summon, where it requires your bonus action to command, but it does all the normal stuff otherwise. This is all normal stuff. It lasts forever, so you can use... Yeah, you can use basically a wild shape during one rest and then just short rest and get it back, and the beast will still be with you forever. So that's fine. Anything was left behind? Yeah. This is all normal stuff. So let's get to the actual like decent stuff. Like let's talk about this stat block. Primeval Companion. First of all, his armor is great. 13 plus PB is pretty darn solid. 15 at level 1. Scaling up. That's decent. This is these numbers are bigger than they usually are. Usually hit points start at like 5. And the hit dice are usually like D8s. That's a tanky creature. 5 and D8s. This is 10 and D10. So this is meant to be kind of chonky. This is like massive. You know, this is a hefty fella. Saving throws are nice. Dex +2, con +3. That's cool. The attack is kind of underwhelming. I'm going to be honest with you. It's just a 1d8 bludgeoning, piercing, slashing. I don't think it ever becomes magical, which might be a problem. I think this eventually should become magical if it wants to scale well, but I don't think it ever becomes a magical thing. I don't know if you can assume that a Primeval Companion is inherently magical. It literally doesn't say that, so whatever. Anyway, this is its big thing. Reactions. When a creature beside it gets hit, you can have the damage. You can split it between you and the creature. So that's fantastic. You can keep that next to your wizard, keep them nice and safe. It can just be a damage soak. As a reaction, it just eats damage, and you technically give resistance to all damage to the wizard or sorcerer that you're protecting. Decent. So it's shaping up to be a defender. Good armor class, good hit points, bad damage, and can take hits. Solid. Prehistoric Conduit. So I didn't like this feature. I know some of you might have read it already. I didn't like this feature. So it gets the same thing that, what is that thing called? The Wildfire Spirit thing, where your spell can originate from you or your Primeval Companion. That's all right, because it still has to be spells other than self. So it's basically just giving you a 30-foot range on touch spells. Anyway, if it's affected by a spell you cast, so if your pet is caught in an AoE, it has advantage on the saving throw. And that's decent. You know, you're trying to you're trying to, I don't know, what do druids do? Cloud kill, right? They have cloud kill. They try to cloud kill people. Your pet will have advantage on the saving throw, and if they pass, they take no damage. That's good. That's decent, right? But that's it, right? That's all. That's the entire 6th level feature. That's it. So between level 2 and level 10, all you're getting is you hurt your pet less, you know? And that's not anything. Proper positioning will let me hurt my pet much less, you know? So I don't like this feature. I think this is a boring thing to give it 6th. It doesn't like help at all. That's my 2 cents on it. It doesn't help in the slightest. It's just very plain. So at 10th level, let's talk about 10th level. Let's keep going. And also, important to notice, they don't get magical attacks. They don't get extra attack. Like, if you're planning to put out damage with this thing, it's never going to happen. It's just a block of HP. So I'm not a big fan of this feature. Anyway, Titanic Bond grows to large. Exciting. Your pet is now large and technically mountable if you've made it mountable size, which is important. So suddenly this becomes like a mounted class. This becomes like you get the movement, swim speed, or climb speed. You can ride that and go anywhere. So bonus action, move your pet and move with it. That's really good at positioning, good at avoiding op attacks. Reaction will protect you. It halves any damage dealt to you as long as you're riding it if you use the reaction. And once per turn, when you hit a creature with an attack, which you're never going to do because you're a druid, or deal damage with a spell, you can force them to make a whiz save. And if they do, the creature is frightened of you until the end of your next turn. So this is kind of good. So once per turn, basically if you hit somebody with a spell or deal damage with a spell, you can threaten a frighten on them. So they can't move towards you. They can't get any closer to you. They'll have a disadvantage on attack rolls against you until the end of your next turn. So this lasts until your next turn when you can reapply it. So it's not one of those things that ends at the start of your turn. It ends at the end of your turn. So this is a decent feature. This is actually when the thing actually comes online. When your creature is like a proper mount, proper tank, starts absorbing damage for you, and can keep people away with this frighten every turn. This is not on any sort of resource cost. It's not proficiency bonus per long rest. Yeah. So you're basically a mounted druid. Anyway, last thing, Scourge of the Ancients. You get all of these benefits as a bonus action if you expend a spell slot. So if you expend this to action summon it, bonus action command it, make it do something, and expend a spell slot, you'll get extra temp HP equal 10 times the level. So like a third level spell will give you 30 temp HP. That's decent, I guess. It grows huge, which is very, very fun. Huge pets are really cool. Yeah. And say let's put third level spell slot, right? 38 temp HP. This gives you an additional 1d8 plus 3 on every swing. But notice that at this level 14th level, it's still like a plus 7 to hit, which is not impressive at all. And the damage will be 2d8 plus maybe 5, 6. It's okay, but as a bonus action hit, it's okay. But you'd have to walk into melee range with your mount. Not a big fan of it. Does it work? Does that fear effect work without a resource on any creature damage or just one creature? Let's find out. A creature, so one creature. So it's not multiple creatures, unfortunately. Yeah. So, and then the walking speed increases by, this is decent. So this is, it continues to kind of protect you, right? If you're riding a huge creature, you're 20 feet up in the air. It suddenly has 10 times the spell level temp HP, plus 15 upwards movement speed. You become very mobile, so you become pretty hard to track. So if you look at, that's it, by the way. So if you look at this class as a whole, you basically just have a really big shield. You have a stack of hit points. This is a lot of hit points. By level 14, this is 80 hit points. 80 hit points and 18 AC. So it's a stack of hit points. It tanks that amount of damage, so technically it can tank 160 damage until it dies. Its damage will never be too impressive, but I think this fear is the crux of it. This right here, when it becomes mountable and you can fear someone every turn, this is kind of when the class becomes powerful. But all this considered, I'm not really feeling the thrill of riding a dinosaur. You know, I think it's an effective defensive subclass, but it's not hitting the aesthetic that I'm looking for, which is riding a dinosaur. You know? Oh yeah, you can summon more animals too. Thank you, Eric. You can in fact summon more animals. So if your aesthetic is summoning a very big animal to take hits for you, then sure. You know, here you go. But like I wanna like throw up my staff and my T-Rex charges out there and just beats things up. And I get to buff it. You know, I get to like command it like a sergeant. That's the aesthetic I'm looking for. But this is like just a really big mount. So I think this can do with some flavor changes. If I think it's leaning too heavy into like defensive and kind of I think the 6th level feature misses a beat. It's not as exciting as it could be. It really kicks in at 10th level, and by then most campaigns are over. So yeah, that's it. Yeah, the dragon themed ranger, I think it becomes huge at 15th level. Yeah, that's it. Okay, next is Runecrafter. I mean, we're moving through this because I want to watch Critical Role. Anyway, Wizard Runecrafter. Let's talk. Runecrafter Wizards, ancient power of runes, giant casted runes of old. Runecraft magic has expanded to encompass countless languages. For many runecrafters, the runes are every bit unique and personal. So while you were writing on pieces of paper, I was engraving on decorative stones. This is very like, while you studied math, I studied the blade. That's the energy that I get from this. Wizards that immediately think they're superior because they're drawing on rocks. Let's keep going. Himra777, the giant barb is 10 out of 10, not because it's ultra powerful, but because it sounds very fun. Yeah, that's it. Anyway, runes of it's not game breaking. It's not gonna overturn the levels of balance at your table. It's just a heck of fun. Anyway, runes of understanding. Your study of runecraft has unlocked the ability to decode runes and languages regardless of origin. You always have comprehend language prepared. You can cast without expending a spell slot, and the spell doesn't count against the number of spells you have prepared. I don't like this feature. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't like it. So it's great because it needs rewording. Why would you immediately negate the need to know any languages at all? Like, studying rocks doesn't teach me every language. It doesn't. Like, the rocks teach me the rock language. They don't teach me Elvish. They don't teach me Sylvan. They don't teach me Orin, because that would never be written on rocks. I don't see why infinite comprehend languages is a key feature in here. It doesn't seem like it's hitting the mark for me. Sure, it's good, but why would you want to negate every other player's language with this? What's the gain? You know, it's not fun. You want, if your Dragonborn who knows Draconic and Giant suddenly feels useless because you can understand it. I mean, it's not. I don't know. I don't enjoy this one. I feel like this could have been done better. There's more to tap into with this rune aesthetic, but that's just me. Rune empowerment. Let's talk about this. When you choose a subclass, you learn to amplify your magic through the application of various runes. Your knowledge is stored in your spell book. You can determine what they look like. So when you cast a spell using a spell slot, so not with this. So when you're actually using a spell slot, let's scroll up. So you get, what is it? One of the following? One of the following. So you get one of these three. So life rune. When you invoke this rune, choose one creature within 30 feet. You can choose yourself. Temp HP equal to 5 times the level of spell slot expended. So that's decent. So every time you cast a spell, someone's getting 5 temp HP. That's decent. We have seen better though. Like Twilight Cleric exists. What is it? Artillerist Artificer exists as steady sources of temp HP. This is a nice buff, but it's not what I would build my character around. This is decent, but it's not like brilliant. It doesn't blow me away. War Rune. So choose one creature you can see within 30 feet of you. To the end of your next turns, attack rolls against the chosen target gain a bonus equal to half the level of the spell slot expended. Rounded up, minimum of 1. So this is one of the more unique features here. And that's why I put it in blue. This is build defining. This is a reason why you even spec into this class, right? Every time you cast a spell, creatures get a bonus to hit it. So if you cast a 4th level spell, it's a +2 to hit the creature. Cast a 2nd level spell. Oh, it's rounded up. So cast a 3rd level spell, +2 to hit the creature. Cast a 5th level spell, +3 to hit a creature. This is interesting because there's nothing in D&D like it, where you just get a flat bonus to hit given to you by your ally. I'm not counting Bless because Bless is a 1d4, and it never really transcends that. A flat bonus is always better than a rolling bonus. This is really good. I'm not sure if this is the flavor I'm looking for, but it's really good, and I can't deny that. Yeah, you still cast a spell. The spell still goes off, and you don't. The person you cast a spell on doesn't have to be the target of the war rune. So you can cast Fly on yourself, right? You can, as a 3rd level spell, and then put war rune on somebody and just mark them for everybody gets +2 to hit them. Yeah, it's fun, but it's not exactly runey. Anyway, Wind Rune, you get increases by a number of feet equal to 5 times level of spell slot expended. This is just your get out of jail free card. It's a bonus action. It's not even a bonus action. It's just a free disengage, which is decent, but not something I build my character around. So these are good. They're good, right? They're good, but are they? Am I feeling the runiness yet? Am I feeling the runiness? Not really. That's the problem. Like there's an aesthetic that they're missing here. And this feels a lot like an artificer so far. Am I crazy in thinking that this feels like a lot like an artificer? Oh, by the way, this is not infinite. PV per long rest. So at level 2, you can use 2. At level 5, you can use 3. Kind of whack. I wish this was something that just kept happening, but whatever. Sigils of Warning. Here we go. When you fail a strength, dex, or con save, use a reaction to expend 1 use and succeed on the saving throw instead. Okay, so this is good because you're not good. You're not good at strength, dex, or con saves, right? That's just kind of, you're a wizard. You're not good at these things. Some may be con, but the rest not so much. You can use your reaction to succeed instead. Remember, you only have a limited amount of uses for this. So if you spend it on this, you cannot spend it on this. So we label this as like the fun stuff, right? This is the fun stuff. This is what makes the class fun, right? And this is kind of a defensive feature. But using this spends your fun stuff. What's the point of making this so interesting if this is clearly like an optimal choice? The problem is that, oh, that's true. This is good for contracts, but I don't want to use these. Why couldn't it just be free? I don't want to use my runic empowerment to save on these. That's not fun. That's just being, I don't know. It's a very passive ability. And the thing about this, right, is that your reaction is very important. There's absorb elements. There's counter spell. There's shield. There's other spells out. I can't remember the others, but those are the 3 important ones. Why would you This seems like a waste. I don't want to compete for a reaction. The wizard is one of those classes that really appreciates having a reaction all the time. I don't want to spend it on this, but not my favorite. I feel, again, it could have been good for Artificer because it competes with Flash of Genius. Actually, that's not a good reason for it to be on Artificer. I think the next one will be, but I'm not a big fan of this, right? I think that so far, I'm not getting the runiness of this. Like, where's the where's the flavor? Why do I have to wait till level 10 for the flavor? You know? This is a wizard only subclass. Yes, it's only wizards. Anyway, Rune Maven. At 10th level. Let's talk about 10th level. Whenever you use your Arcane Recovery feature, so short rest, you also regain a number of expended uses of Runic Empowerment. The number of uses you gain can be no more than half your intelligence modifier rounded up. So you're 10th level, right? Your intelligence modifier is probably going to be +5, +4 optimally, right? So you'll get 2 to 3 more uses of your fun feature. 2 to 3 more uses of this, right? And that's it. That's it. That's everything. This is on a short rest gain back 3 uses of your level 2 feature. And that's it. Like, it's not powerful and it's not fun. Like, why? I feel like 6th and 10th level have been total misses for me in terms of enjoying the flavor of a Runecrafter. Like, where is, if you, okay, I know fans of him are listening. If you guys know Indestructo Boy, he made the Runekeeper recently, which is like 20 pages of rune magic, and it's fantastic. And looking at this in comparison, I feel like they've completely wasted the 6th level and the 10th level. Not a fan. Anyway, I understand that wizard subclasses have to be weak because their base class is so powerful. They have 500 spells. They have 300 spells, you know? But it can be fun. It doesn't have to be powerful if it's fun. But these are not fun features. This does not inspire me. Engraved enemy. Let's keep going. Let's finish this. Engraved enemy enmity. As a bonus action, you can target a creature within 60 feet of yourself. They must succeed on a whiz save against your spell DC or be magically marked. So you can mark somebody. The enmity rune appears above a flame. Appears as a flame, a faintly glowing mode of energy that hovers over the marked creature. So they have to fail a whiz save, or they get marked, and they get all 3 of these effects. Runecraft's Bane. Disadvantage against saving throws made against spells you cast. This is actually fantastic. This is really, really strong. Disadvantage on saving throws is always very strong, and I've talked about this tons of times. This is a really good feature. As long as they fail the spell save DC. And an unveiled enemy, if they're invisible, this is niche. You'll probably use this once in your campaign. Maybe 2. Maybe twice they'll use it in your campaign. That's at max. This is very, very rare to be useful ever. And Woeful Curse. So when you mark a creature, and as a bonus action, you can spend another bonus action every turn to curse them. And if a creature hits them, they take 1d8 force damage and the curse ends. So every turn, you can spend a bonus action to deal additional 1d8 damage to the target if another ally hits them. Why are there so many steps to this? Just deal the 1d8. You're level 14. Why are there so many steps to this? Just deal the 1d8. Just deal 1d8 when you use a bonus action on subsequent turns. Like, why are there so many steps to this? You're 14th level. This is 5 damage once a round as a bonus action. You could Misty Step with that nonsense. You could do a whole lot of... This is not a good feature. This is so deliberately weak. This is probably the only redeeming thing about this feature, right? Runecraft's Bane. It's great. This is great. But, and this is a big but. Let's go over here. The enmity rune lasts for 1 minute or until you lose your concentration. Surprise! It's a concentration ability. So you can't even use your 7th level concentration spells while doing this. How many really great spells are concentration, and you're going to choose this over it? A bonus action whiz save? I don't know, man. This is a concentration spell. It's so silly. Why are you... Okay, once you've marked a creature in this way, you can't do so again. You spend another 3rd level spell slot to do this. It's so silly. I don't know, man. I'm not. This is probably. I don't know. This is a good bonus action economy, but at 14th level, I'm still waiting for the rune magic to kick in. This is just like Hex. This is Hex. This is not rune magic. This is Hex. Like, this is not rune magic. This is not rune magic. This is not rune magic. This is almost rune magic. These are kind of cool. Play more with these. Make them more interesting. Make them get cooler runes as you level up. There's so many things you can do with runes, but they kind of missed it on 6th, 10th, and 14th level. There's so many things you could do here. That's my 2 cents. This is clearly a miss. I'd love for them to embrace that artificers exist and treat them as a real class and not just getting one subclass every now and then. Like, give Runecrafter to the artificer, start from scratch. You took the archivist from them and gave them to wizard, so give them Runecrafter instead. That's my. If you want to play Runekeeper, go look up Indestructible. He has a great book on it. 13 minutes. Thanks for keeping me on track, Caden. We got a whole lot of feats to go through. Thankfully, I can summarize these pretty darn quick. So these are all feats. Let's talk about these. These are all feats. And they tap into the magic of giants. Love that. I kind of labeled them. We'll go through them, but the only interesting thing I want to point out here is that they have level prerequisites. So this was seen in Strixhaven, that some features have to be taken at 4th level. This was also seen in the Kryn UA. But this is the first 8th level feature. This is really interesting. So we'll see if it actually pans out. These are features that you just keep away from early level because apparently they're too strong. So, anyway, first one, Elemental Touch. Now this is an interesting one. Again, you get Druidcrafter Thaumaturgy. This is very similar to Giant BARB. So you just get that for free. You can choose an element you're attuned to. This is modular per long rest, so you can switch, which is amazing. Let me just put that in green. Amazing. Bonus action, you can cause one of the following effects. So air, fly speed 1 turn. It doesn't give you a disengage, so it doesn't really bail you out of anything, but this is good for chasms. This is good for climbing walls. This is good for chasing after a creature temporarily, but eventually you're going to fall. You know, this is cool for like aesthetics. Earth. Now, hear me out. This VOD will get saved. Yes, of course. Earth. You cause the ground within 30 feet of you to become difficult terrain for 1 minute until you create the effect again. 30 feet difficult terrain. Okay, we're tabbing back to Foundry. Hold on. This is important, so I gotta come back to this. Hey, I gotta get rid of all of these, right? Let me see. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. Okay. Wait, let's use Ellie here. What is 30 feet difficult terrain? This is 30 feet difficult terrain. This is 30 feet difficult terrain. And what is this? What does this cost again? Do you see how big this thing is? It lasts for 1 minute. Bonus action, 30 feet difficult terrain, 1 minute. It's huge. It's huge. And you can ignore it. This is not concentration. This is not a spell. This is a bonus action. It's amazing. This is so good. You could tie down a whole corridor, a whole room with that. 30 feet? Anyway, this is probably the best thing you can find here. Fire. Until the end of your turn, you move. This is a bonus action disengage. It's a bonus action to disengage, but it looks cool because it's fire. So bonus points for that. And water. Forceful surge of water pointed at a creature within 15 feet. If they a strength save against your spellcasting mod or be pushed 10 feet away from you. So a willing creature can choose to fail. So you can bump people around, right? You can bump people 10 feet away from you as a bonus action, which is neat. You can move around your allies, no save required, 10 feet away. This is better than telekinetic. Telekinetic, remember, telekinetic is a 5 feet. This is 10 feet. But you can use this a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. So there's a limit, right? There's a limit. So this is not amazing if there's a limit, but this is amazing. 3 times a day at level 5, this is amazing. So good. That's worth taking the feat. And it's modular. You can take any of these. Good feat. Flavorful feat, I think, is the best thing. Flavor. There's a lot of personality to it, is one of the bigger things. Anyway, so this is the first 8th level feature we're going to talk about. Ember of the Fire Giant. First of all, you get resistance to fire damage, as it makes sense. Yes, this is a ranged bonus action shove. It's very good. Searing Ignition. So you replace one of your attacks with this. So every creature of your choice within 15 feet of you must make a dex save. And if they fail, they take 2d6 plus your proficiency bonus, which is average of 7 damage plus, so average of 9 to 12 damage, and is blinded until the start of your next turn. You can use this number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you gain all uses when you finish a long rest. So again, let's tab over to Foundry. How big is this? Uh, 15 feet. Sizable. So this is a lot of creatures that gets hit by this. So this is an AoE blind 3 times a day at level 5. Pretty solid. I'm a fan of it. But that's it. That's the whole feature. So resistance to fire damage, which is amazing, and then this feature, which is decent, because blinded is a very hard, it's a very hard condition to find. Anyway, Fury of the Frost Giant. Resistance to cold damage, and you can use your reaction if a creature hits you with an attack roll. You have to succeed on a Wiz save versus your Con modifier. So I put this in orange underwhelming because not everybody has good Con. It's kind of a weird thing to scale with. So it's always going to be 8 plus 2, so 10 plus your proficiency modifier. So the DC is going to be 12 to 15, and it doesn't scale very well. Or I'm frightened of you until the start of your next turn. That's okay, but like if they hit you, right, it's kind of too late for the frighten. Does that make sense? So like it'll help you against the future attacks if they have future attacks, but by the time you use your reaction, their turn's basically over and they won't be hitting you anymore. I don't like this feature. Actually, I'm going to turn this to orange. This is kind of whack. This is bad. I don't like this one. A Cloud Giant. So this is crazy. This is an 8th level feature. You cast Blur without using a spell, so no spell slot, no concentration. Remember, Blur gives all attacks against you disadvantage. So that lasts for a minute. It can't be stopped unless it's dispelled. And you don't have to retain concentration. So you can cast Mirror Image on top of it, as well as like Fly or Haste, things that make it really hard for you to hit. Anyway, once you cast a spell in this way, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. You can still cast it normally, but that's not the point. It doesn't matter if you can cast it normally. All that matters is this, right? So would you sacrifice an 8th level feature to have disadvantage on all attack rolls against you for a minute? I think I would. I would consider it. It looks cool. It's powerful. It's only for one combat, so you have to really consider what kind of campaign you're running. Probably bad in dungeons, but good if you only fight one bad thing a day. Think about it. Oh, also you get an expertise. I totally forgot. There's an expertise attached to this. You can get expertise in persuasion or deception. So yeah, good. It's a good feature. I would recommend it. Disadvantage on all attack rolls against you for a minute, plus expertise in deception or persuasion. Pretty solid. There aren't many expertise features out there. Feats out there. Keenness of the Stone Giant. At 4th level, you learn Detect Thoughts for free. That's cool. And you get a 1st level Abjuration or Divination School. So again, this is Hex. No, this is Hunter's Mark. And this is Shield. Or Armor of Agathis. So Armor of Agathis, Shield, Hex are kind of the big ones here. You cast them once without expending a spell slot, but you can also cast them using spell slots, and you get an extra 30 Dark Vision. This is a decent feature if you don't have a source of getting Shield or Hex. This is great. Pick it up on your melee characters to get a couple casts of Shield. It's really good on Eldritch Knight. You can get a Hunter's Mark on your Eldritch Knight. That would be fantastic. Things like that. That's a decent one. I put it at green because Shield's always good. It's useful. It doesn't give you ASI, but it's useful. Outsized Might. So let's talk about this feat. This is actually a terrible feat. I'm just going to preface it, not even going to explain it. You gain athletics or acrobatics proficiency. You count as one size larger, which, as you know, basically does nothing for you besides how much you can lift. And you have advantage throws against saving throws against being moved or knocked prone, which is useless. Let's be honest. Like, when will you sacrifice an entire feat to get this? No. No, there's so many good feats in this document alone. This is not worth a feat. This will never be worth a feat. How often are you getting moved or knocked prone? Maybe once every 4 to 5 sessions? It's not useful in the slightest. Just play a Goliath and you get half of this feature. This sounds like a feature you'd get at level 1 for free. If they're ever going to implement that level 1 free feat that the Kryn UA had, this is where they would put it. Anyway, Rune Carver Apprentice. So this is basically Artificer the feat. When you finish a long rest, you can mark one non-magical weapon, armor, piece of clothing, just like an Artificer, and you can temporarily learn one spell of your choice. Let's see what the spells are. Okay. Bless, great spell. Armor of Agathis, great spell. Goodberry, fantastic spell. Cure Wounds, great spell. Command is okay. Guiding Bolt is okay. So you can learn one of these spells and kind of stitch it into your clothing. Also, jump is spell. Wow, shield. You can get shield again. It's literally just the shield rune. Sanctuary, Thunderwave, Heroism, Featherfall. While you're wearing it, you can cast it once without a spell slot, but you can also use spells. So this is a great feature to pick. This is a great feat to pick up for any class that doesn't get shield as a base spell. You can also get Goodberry and Cure Wounds. So Wizard, you can get this on Wizard for Cure Wounds. I think it's really good. Yeah. So fantastic point, Eric. This is the feature that basically the Rune Carver should have been. This is the one that the Wizard should have been, but they probably figured it was too powerful to give to a Wizard, so they turned it into a feat. That's my assumption here, because this is really great. This is really flavorful. I love the aesthetic of this. This should have been its own Artificer subclass. Anyway, underwhelmingly comes next. You need the Rune Carver Apprentice feat to take Rune Carver Adept, and now you can carve a number of them equal to your proficiency bonus. You can only have one rune at a time, so you can basically take multiple spells equal to your proficiency bonus. Why would you ever do that? You only ever want one of these spells. Shield, Bless, Armor of Agathis, Goodberry, Cure Wounds. If you want more of these spells, then just take one level in a different class. Like, why would you ever need two of these spells? Like Bless and Shield, I guess. But are you going to sacrifice an entire feat for it? This is not a good feature. This is definitely something that was originally in a subclass, but no longer is. Let's be real. Thank you for timing me, Dragoon. I'm trying to get this done. Soul of the Storm Giant. Hopefully they'll just put ads at the beginning. That's what I'm hoping for. Soul of the Storm Giant. 8th level feature, one more. So as a bonus action, you surround yourself with an aura of magical wind. Extends 10 feet from you, but not total cover. While at last, attack rolls against you have disadvantage. Didn't we just see this? We just saw this in Blur. Up here. Blur, no concentration is the exact same thing as this. No concentration. The only difference is that this one can be dispelled with Dispel Magic, and this one can't. So this is by default like a better effect. And you can also have people speed in that, and you can use it once per long rest, which is whatever. And this is a 4th level spell. It's decent, but honestly, if your DM really wants you to speak to the gods, they'll make it available to you. So, whatever. And finally, Vigor of the Hill Giant. Bad feature. Whenever you're subject to something that would move you or knock you prone, you can use your reaction to not be moved or knocked prone. I don't know. Do they really expect us to be knocked prone and moved a lot? I'm trying to figure out, like, this is clearly something you use to fight giants, but otherwise, this is not very useful. Anyway, when you heal hit points, you regain hit points equal to your Constitution modifier. This is actually really good. It would Goodberry. The problem is you only get a number of uses per long rest. And that's the whole thing. That's it. So for people who are trying to watch Critical Role, here's my summary. Giant options. Love it. Path of the Giant, 10 out of 10. My favorite thing to come out of D&D this year. It's just really fun, really flavorful. Doesn't put out a lot of damage, but that's not the point. It's just a fun subclass. Primeval, if you want something really big protecting you and taking hits for you, this is good. It doesn't really do very well offensively. It's a mounted subclass. So a lot of its benefits comes from riding your mount, but it kind of misses a couple beats in terms of exciting things. Like, this is really boring. Runecrafter Wizard is garbage. Free comprehend languages for no reason whatsoever besides being able to read rocks. You can get these to buff up your spells. This is really good, but otherwise kind of underwhelming in terms of runes. This is all you get in terms of rune flavored, because this gives you no rune flavor, this gives you no rune flavor, and this gives you no rune flavor. So I went over the feats already. There's a couple really good ones, and I want you to consider them. But most of them, I'd say Elemental Touch is my favorite. This seems busted and should be nerfed. Everything else is kind of weirdly worded, but honestly sufficient. And that's it. Thank you guys for tuning in. I have a stream that I want to watch, but I'd be down to go into this more in depth if you guys want me to stream this again. I would totally be down for something like that and like really talk about the potential in here. I hope you like the visuals. I'm not sponsored by Foundry VTT, but boy, do I support using it. It is fantastic. I also have a podcast. I'm plugging my podcast. Your rivers are wrong. It's about world building and storytelling, and I have a fantastic co-host who lives in the Netherlands, and we talk about this kind of stuff. But hope you guys enjoyed. Check out Indestructiboy's stream as well. I believe he did that earlier today. I think Dungeoneers Pack might do something later, and I think Ted from Nerd Immersion already posted a video on it, but I hope this one was entertaining. I wanted this to be more fun than knowledgeable. Have fun. Be big. All of this is be big, be brave, be bold. Have a fantastic day, and stay frosty.